Good afternoon. I'm here to ask today, what if we could hack upward mobility? What if there was a way to leverage social networks, social ties, and expert knowledge and bring it all in one place to help impact underrepresented students in higher education? What if there was a way in which we could help students become their own resource? What if there was a way that we can provide the tools and the skills to students so that they can become their own mentors? I am very interested in this question because when I sit down next to students across from them and ask them, why do you want to go to school? Why is education important to you? I work mainly with lower income students, first generation college students, and the resounding response is always, I want to do this because I want to improve my situation. I want to improve the situation for my family. I want to go to school and come back and give back to my community. And these are students who already are instilled with the responsibility to give back to their community and to give back to those that have helped them along the way. But so many of them have been told, go to school, it's the right thing to do. Go to school, it's the next step in the process. Go to school and you can do all those things. But nobody tells them how. Many of the students I work with come from these backgrounds, and when they tell me that they are going hungry every now and then, or because their family doesn't have enough money to put food on the table, or they come from a single-parent household, I can relate to that. And when they tell me that they're doing this because they want to improve their family, that is the position that I was in. In fact, I still tell myself that. I tell myself, I'm getting my master's, I'm going to go on to get my PhD because that is the thing to do. That is what I've been told to do. But when I went through it, no, I had a lot of difficulty trying to figure out what pieces go together. My mother and I stood up many nights trying to figure out what is this FAFSA? How do we apply to this college? What is the difference between this financial aid package and that financial aid package? Because those are things that are really important to higher education. It's not just about getting to school and then everything's going to be great. No, if a student comes out with $20,000, $40,000 worth of loans and they're already coming from a low-income family, it's going to be very difficult for them to obtain that dream of upward mobility. It's going to be very difficult for them to move forward. Not to mention some of the personal barriers. Some of the personal barriers that I've found is that you go to an admissions website page, and sometimes they are some of the most difficult pages to understand. There's data here, there's information here, you click here, this link's broken. So what are students to do? They get overwhelmed with information, they don't know what some of these terms mean, and this is not to belittle or think negatively about these students, but these students may not have the resources that more affluent students have, or other students who may have access to somebody who has gone to college. If there is nobody in their family or in their immediate surroundings who has gone to college, then it makes it a lot more difficult for them to understand what college is. For them, college is just this idea, this abstract thing that everybody's like, yeah, you got to go do it. It's a thing that you need to obtain. It's something that you need to strive for. But what I want to do with the MyEDU app is focus on creating a new cycle of opportunity. Focus on helping students realize that they have the power, they have the capability, and they have the capacity to teach themselves, to learn themselves, to become their own mentors. These are students who, if they want to find something out, they can Google it and find it out just like that. But if you ask them, how much is this school going to cost, or what does this mean, how do we apply to this school, they're going to be like, I don't know. And so many students, they get so frustrated and overwhelmed with this information that it makes them want to just throw their hands up and say, I can't do it. And that is, as an educator, that is something that I want to prevent, because I know every one of those students, no matter what background they come from, no matter how much education they've had, if they have the drive, that they can do it. And I want to reinforce to them that there are people out there who will help them, and more importantly, the person in the mirror is the person who is going to help them the most. They are the ones who are in control of it. I want to help students take ownership of their education and show them that they can become empowered in moving themselves forward, moving their families forward, and moving forward. I don't mean, oh, let's get 5 A's this semester, let's get 3, let's make sure we reduce the number of B's we have. No, if I get a student who comes to my desk and at the end of our discussion, they are more interested in college, if they're the students who are on the fence, who are, I'm not sure if it's right for me, I'm not sure if I can do it, I've never had anybody in my family do it, those are the students that I'm really trying to target and say, no, you can do it. You're almost there. All of these things that you have overcome, your experiences, these are valuable assets, and these are things that you need to talk about. Going back to what somebody was speaking about earlier, telling your story, I want to show these students that they have valuable stories to share and valuable knowledge and experience that they have gained through their life experience. And that is something that is to be cherished and something that they should be proud of, because when they own that story, when they own who they are and where they come from, that is what makes them a great candidate for school. And yes, there are other things like creating a resume, making sure your GPA is good, all of those things, but it's about the personal drive and the effort and the confidence that we can instill within these students by helping them get to the next level. And so the MyEDU app is an app that I've created to help students specifically in Michigan. I'm working in Michigan right now, and I worked at a high school last year. And the goal is to try to facilitate learning in a new way, to provide the information at the students' fingertips so that they can access it when they're grounded, sitting in their room, and they have nothing else to do. If one person picks up that app and can look at the schools in the state and say, hey, this kind of fits my GPA. This is a school that I might be able to get into. This is something that is interesting to me. All of a sudden, we start to move that person one step forward. And as an educator, that is what it is all about to me. I understand that every student is at a different stage in their life with different experiences. But if we can move them one step closer, then that is a success. And so the MyEDU app is focused on giving students a very detailed but digestible way of receiving this information. It provides task lists. It provides information about schools. It tells them, what are the things that I need to have in order to apply to school? I need to build a resume. So it offers resources on how to build a resume. It offers access to ACT and SAT prep. It also just gets them involved. A little interactive map that I threw on there to help students say, let me click on this. 2 clicks away, now they're at the admissions page. Two more clicks, and now they're maybe starting on the application. These are the things that I think can really help students get inspired about education, get excited about their education, and recognize that it's not something that's out there. It's not some idea that is just foreign to them. It may be now, but they have the skills and the capability to research and to figure these things out. And if we can help facilitate that, then that's only going to make them stronger and better students as they go to college. These are skills that they're going to learn in the future. So one other thing that is really important to me, as I said, coming from a lower income background and being raised by my mother, I had the privilege to be able to learn from her hard work, and all of that she did for myself and my family, and I translated that into my education. I was very privileged and fortunate enough to get my education paid for. And what I want to show these students is that they have the capability and the capacity to really transform their education, not just as education, but as a tool to get to the next level. Whatever that means for them, that's fine. We need to make sure that we can push students, though, to help them feel that they are confident enough to proceed. So thank you very much.